I used to go to That was intense for the
¿Cómo estás? Bien, bien. Yeah, we're gonna start in around 3 minutes. We just need one more board member so we can have a quorum. Hola, buenas tardes. Pásale con confianza.
Because it says right there, click on it. And there's nothing to click on. Y no lo pude guardar. Even the front speech.
No, es que no la. Perdón.
Okay.
But if you
I
want
thought
to.
I thought there was.
But you're already in the email on this, right?
Okay.
Okay, everyone, it's 5:30. We're missing one more person so we can have a quorum. So we're gonna give it around 3 more minutes. So we can start. ¿Alguien ocupa traductor? Anybody needs a translator? Is the translator here? Well, traffic is really bad, I know. So, in the meanwhile, anybody's interested in doing public comments? I can start putting you on the queue. So 1, 2, 3. Anybody else? Public comment, comentario público. Okay, I'm gonna start putting.
Do you have enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need one more?
Yeah, we need 8.
I like the shirts.
Thank you.
You get some stuff. Man, I'm gonna go back and be like, we need shirts.
I know, no. Yeah, I was speaking to the guy about like doing a co-meeting, so hopefully they'll
¿Cómo está?
do that thing today.
Eso es lo más importante. So Roxanne, in case you didn't hear, we're waiting for one more person from the planning group. So we have one. And Mr. Morrison is here, so.
Okay.
Está en camino.
Is this from your presentation?
Okay, Mr. Morrison, thank you for being here. Now we have quorum. So we can start. So thank you so much for everybody for being here. It's August 12th. It's 5:33, and I do a call to order. Now we're gonna do roll call. So after I say your name, please say present. Okay.
I'm moving chair.
So Jacqueline Gutierrez, Adriana Castañeda,
Present.
Elber González, Jennifer Espinosa,
Here, present.
Manuel López,
Here.
Stanford Morrison, Rodolfo López Jr., Marcia Pérez Hinojosa, Alejandro Farias, Consuelo Delgadillo, Ricardo Martínez, Paola Redondo, Roxanne Palestino,
Present.
Olga Espinosa,
Here.
Cristian Fuentes, here. Okay. Now we're gonna move to item 2, approval of the published agenda, but I do want to make a motion to swap items 4 and 5 because I know that Ms. Maganda from the mayor's office is here and she might have to leave soon. So it's more convenient to have a presentation before. Does anybody second the motion?
Okay.
Anybody opposes? So, okay, no discussion then. We're gonna take a vote. Those that are in favor say aye. Any nays? Abstentions? Okay, so the vote passes. So we flip items 4 and 5. And now we're gonna go to the approvals of the minutes. Ricardo sent the minutes online. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see them, but I'm gonna give you maybe 1 extra minute, so at 5:35, so you can read them, and then we can approve them. One of our panelists are outside. Hopefully that was enough time. Now we're gonna go. So I make a motion to approve of the minutes. Any seconds?
Second.
Anybody? So those that are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions?
No.
Nah, 1 abstention. Now we're gonna move to item 3, which you have public comment. We have, so I know we have you, and you. Anybody else wants to do public comment? ¿Alguien que más quiere hacer comentario público? So, Mr. Araiza, the floor is yours.
I'll go up to the front. Hello, everybody. My name is Omar Araiza. I've met many of you before. Good to see everybody. Just really briefly, I'm also on the planning group for the Otay Mesa Nestor, and that I see on the agenda that you guys are visiting with the Otay Mesa planning group, which is east, and we're kind of like the west side. Since I have a business here locally and I'm here all the time, the only challenge that I have as being a representative from that group is that I have to go immediately after this meeting to my own meeting. But I would like to continue to visit you and give you updates on what is happening within our community. One of the things is that we are creating the master plan right now with the city of San Diego, and it's going to be like a 1.5 year long process. But I would also like to hear from San Ysidro, from your community, because we affect each other, right? We don't want to just be independent. We also want to hear your voices. Does anybody need translation? ¿Alguien necesita que traduce en español? Nada más para de cosas, ¿eh? Ok, perfecto.
Tengo una pregunta.
Sí.
Este master plan que se va a hacer es nuevo. Ya tenemos 2, el que se hizo original en el 87 y los hizo una enmienda en el segundo.
Sí, lo que están haciendo es una revisión para amendaciones de que se necesitan para los próximos años. Entonces, la ciudad tiene coordinado en su página qué ciudades ya lo han hecho y qué van a ser los futuros. A lo mejor San Ysidro va a ser en el futuro.
¿Y qué personas de la comunidad están incluidas en eso? Porque yo estuve en los 2, en el primero y en el segundo.
Para de San Ysidro,
De San Isidro.
ese le puedo preguntar cuando llego a la presentación. Hoy van a presentar en nuestro planning group. Entonces les puedo preguntar cuándo piensan hacerlo para San Ysidro. Just to translate, she was asking about the amendments. It's amended every couple of years. Ours hasn't been really done. It was originally made 30 years ago, updated, I think, in 2017, and now they want to re-update it for any new amendments. She's asking, like, when is San Ysidro going to be doing it? I can go back and ask and see when the city has plans to update the master plan for San Ysidro, so that way you're prepared for it. I can do a little presentation maybe at a future meeting on what the process is, and that way you guys can start preparing for that information, gathering community input prior to that, getting that started. Antes de que la comunidad empiece, puedo preguntar. And then lastly, the last little thing, I'm not sure, 12 seconds, okay. I visited this amazing pueblo in Mexico, and I left like this amazing feeling of tranquility, wellness, and for me, that's what San Ysidro feels like. I honestly think you should consider San Ysidro as a magic town, un pueblo mágico.
Thank you so much, Mr. Araiza.
Yeah.
We have, I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Daniel,
Daniel, Mr. Daniel, you have 3 minutes.
buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Pues quería nomás unas ideas para aquí, para el recinto, unas perspectivas mías, ¿no? Que hay mucho que hacer en lo cívico. La comunidad más que nunca le interesa saber cómo se usan los fondos y también su actuación. Los fondos de educación pública, la política elegida con respecto al tema de transgénero, nutrición, vivienda, el fomento de capacitación profesional y sus oportunidades. Yo creo que presentes están los que quieren servir e informar a la comunidad, al igual que presentar soluciones. Al cumplir con esto, creo que catalizaría la participación que muchos queremos de la comunidad. Muchas comunidades no tienen un entendimiento funcional general, ni mucho menos particular del gobierno y las personas y organizaciones que influyen en él. También existe un desconocimiento, ya sea a propósito, porque el pueblo sabio, y a veces es mejor no saber algunas cosas, o de casualidad, de las metas y prerrogativas del Estado, o sus componentes más fuertes e influyentes. Pienso que este conocimiento en esta disyuntiva, esta cita con la historia que tiene nuestro pueblo, es de vital importancia, especialmente consecuente dado las tecnologías, la potencia de la inversión y los contundentes actos de nuestro gobierno en nuestros días. Shakespeare, el célebre poeta y dramaturgo inglés, dijo: "El mundo entero es un escenario y todos los hombres y mujeres son meros actores". También me dijo mi buen amigo don Mario: "Las cosas valen la etiqueta que tú les pongas". Por ejemplo, si estás vendiendo una camisa y le pones una etiqueta de $100, va a valer $100. Y si le pones una etiqueta de $1, va a valer $1. Tú elige la etiqueta que te pones tú. Ahora, reconciliando Shakespeare, don Mario y todos los aquí presentes, pregunto: ¿qué papel jugaremos nosotros ante los duros retos que enfrentan nuestros pueblos? Gringos no somos, negritos tampoco, indígenas estadounidenses tampoco. La originalidad da estilo y hace valer aquello que más le venga a uno como verdadero y bueno. Nociones que en la vida pública esperemos sean las que siempre rigen su buen actuar. Segundo, la iniciativa de la compañera Adriana para entablar la participación de la comunidad y protagonizar el acto de concientización y gestión que paliará los males de la falta de vivienda, movilidad social, retos alimentarios y todo lo que mejor pueda ser atendido como comunidad. Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias. And then we have one last person, Miss Melody. The floor is yours, 3 minutes.
Hi everyone, my name is Melody and I'm an organizer for the community garden over at Black Box Gallery. I have 2 events that I'd like to announce in case anyone's interested. One event is on climate change gardening. Gardening has been very difficult with the climate change effects, so much so that even our community garden is working on adapting to those changes. So in order to teach the community how to maintain their own garden, we have a climate change community gardening workshop. There are flyers over there if you're interested. It is August 30th. And we are also having a second event on native plants where you guys will be able to interact with native plants, both touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. There is native plant tea, there are free seed giveaways, and we have a public speaker who is coming from the the San Diego Bird Alliance, who is going to speak and teach about native plants. This is all being funded by the Climate Science Alliance, and they are all working together to make this possible. If you guys can come over and support and learn a little bit more about our native plants here in Baja California, that'd be awesome. And to just learn more about how to maintain your own plants at home.
Thank you. You had a question? Oh.
Actually, can I just have 10 seconds?
Oh, yes.
So I just got a text message from Paloma Gides saying that you can get a second and third air filter for your home. So if you need to reapply, just make sure you have your email identification number record and you can reapply because they really want to make sure that families are being taken care of, not just for one room, but for multiple rooms. So if you have multiple generations of grandmother, family, and kids, you definitely need to apply. And they will run out, so.
Thank you. Do you have a question, Hugo?
Oh, no, that was, he told her to mention that.
Oh, okay.
She said there.
So nothing else. We have 40 minutes, 30 seconds. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, Melody has been very helpful with the garden. So thank you so much. One last call. Any other person wants to do public comment? Okay. Now we're gonna move to items 4. As we mentioned, we swapped 4 and 5. So we have 5A. We have residential rental pricing Gauching. How do you pronounce it? Gauching. By Nicole Lilly. She's a great organizer in the city of San Diego. So yeah. Do you have a slide?
No.
Just gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this presentation. I'm gonna put your this one.
Oh, that's perfect. Hi, y'all. My name's Nicole. Thank you so much for having me today. I'll make sure.
Let's put the
Okay, I'll be appropriate on time. Just to kind of start, I want to get an idea of who's in the room. If you're comfortable, no worries. If not, but could you raise your hand if you're a renter? I'm a renter. Okay. Who here is a homeowner? Okay. Thank you. Is anyone here a landlord? Landlord. Okay. Cool. Thank you all for sharing. I'm here today to share a little bit about, I'll introduce myself first. I'm Nicole. I'm a 23-year-old renter. I live in Golden Hill in the city of San Diego, and I am part of Our Time to Act. We are an entirely youth-led 501c3 nonprofit, and we organize predominantly young people, but intergenerational organizing for housing justice here in San Diego. So the policy that I wanted to talk to you all about today is the residential rental price gouging, fee exploitation, and cost transparency ordinance. So this ordinance is being proposed by both the city of San Diego as well as the county board of supervisors. At the county, it will be implemented in all of the unincorporated zones if passed, and in the city, it will apply to all of the districts. There are exceptions for affordable housing projects though, so that is important to know. What this will do is it will address some of the transparency concerns for renters. It will also address the fees that you pay as renters. So there's the base level rent that you're paying each month, and then there's also, I'm out of your way, additional fees that you have on top of that sometimes. So this ordinance will start by requiring that all listings of any residential listings that are out there when you're looking for places to rent will include all of the fees in an itemized list. They have to include whether or not they are optional or if they are required, and they have to include the frequency of those fees on all listings so that no one's going in surprised. They advertise, oh, it's $1,000 rent, you apply, and then you're like, oh, it's actually $1,500 a month because of fees. So that is one piece. Another piece of this is that it would require landlords to accept a reusable screening report. So when you apply for housing and you have to pay that application fee and you got to do the background check and the credit check over and over and over again, that really racks up in costs and it makes applying for housing really expensive. This would require landlords to accept a valid screening report. And so there's discussion from the council on exactly what that screening report will be required so that landlords can also have peace of mind that it's a valid one, but also so that renters aren't paying out the wazoo for rental fees. Beyond it being, beyond once you've already signed, sometimes a landlord might introduce new fees after you've already signed. This would also ban that. This would say that if there's a new fee introduced after you've already signed the lease agreement, the landlord has to provide 30-day notice and written notice to you as the tenant, and you have the option to agree or disagree to that fee, and they cannot be penalized for disagreeing. And you have to give written consent in order to agree to that new fee. Another thing is it caps holding deposits to no more than 5% monthly rent. So if, this is especially an issue for students, I went to UCSD, there's a lot of UCSD kids trying to apply to apartments, and landlords will be like, hey, in order for you to like have this place and go through the application process, you have to pay a holding deposit, and then maybe you'll get it. And then they won't refund that holding deposit. So this would require that holding deposit be no more than 5% of monthly rent, and have it be refunded, or apply that deposit to rent or your security deposit once a lease is finalized. This would also cap late fees at no more than 2% of your monthly rent, and it would require that late fees are not charged unless your rent is 7 days or more late. So it kind of gives a little bit of a grace period. It also requires that landlords apply any payments you make to your rent before it applies to the fees. So you're not falling further and further behind trying to catch up on those fees, right? So it also will cap all monthly fees at no more than 5% of monthly rent. So all the fees your landlord can think of, no offense, I'm sure you are a fantastic landlord, sir. But if we do have some bad faith landlords who are making all kinds of fees, they can't have those recurring fees go above 5% of your monthly rent. So you have more awareness as a renter as well of your budgeting. You know what to expect month to month. And that increase can also be capped with that 10% annual increase that the state requires. So one thing to consider about this though is, or two things actually. I'll start with, if it is a 5% monthly recurring fee cap, if that fee is something that you pay twice a year and not on a monthly basis, they require that landlords prorate that amount of what it would be to the monthly contribution to account for that within each month. How much of that would you be paying realistically, budgeting month to month? Bless you.
Thank you.
Then another thing to consider is, after the informational hearing, there was a lot of discussion. There's a state law that unbundles parking fees from base rent. And so the city council is considering strongly removing parking from the 5% recurring fee cap. So parking would not be capped at that 5% rate. Utilities are also not included within that fees. We are pushing for them to still place a limitation on the increase of parking fees from year to year, so that people who are still forced into car dependency, because I try to take the bus as much as I can, but I still got a car. I still need a car in San Diego. So I don't want to be gouged by my landlord because it's the only place that they can increase fees, right? So we want to address that as well. So those are those considerations. There's also prohibiting landlords from charging tenants for services that are required to maintain habitability. Has anyone here ever been charged for like rodent, like getting rid of rodents, getting rid of bugs and things like that? I'm glad, because we talked to a lot of folks that have been charged for things that are required for them to just be able to live safely in their apartments, safely in their homes, and they're getting charged for that instead of the landlord paying for some of those services. So that would address this. It also, at least in the city of San Diego, the county has not considered this provision, but the city is considering prohibiting pet fees. So you still have to pay a security deposit if you have a pet potentially, but you can't pay a monthly fee for that pet. So there's discussion around that as well. So if you're a pet owner, you really love your pet and you don't want to pay pet rent, we encourage you to give your input to both the city and the county. That is a really broad I know that's a lot of information, but that's a broad overview of this ordinance. Again, it's moving through both the city and the county. Yes.
So enforcement. Right?
Yes.
It's nice to have policy
Yes.
put in place, but enforcement is usually kind of a big deal.
Yes.
Is the city planning on having an enforcement department specifically for this?
It would be under the same like tenant protection of the current tenant protection ordinance.
Because I have known tenants that have had black mold in their house
Mhm.
and they tried working with the city and they're not getting it. And I'm talking months at a
Yeah.
time. So that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm asking, like, is the tenant enforcement going to be harsher for bad landlords? Everybody else is usually really good about these kind of things, but there's certain individuals that.
This ordinance doesn't it's not like a new department in terms of like enforcement. It would be the same kind of enforcement of current tenant protections. However, with engaging community organizations like Our Time to Act and the coalition spaces we're in, we are also serving as like advocates for renters and for people to go do this education. So one, they're aware of their rights if these new protections do get passed. And then also serving as advocates to kind of push that along, because unfortunately the city can sometimes take a while to get to residents' really urgent concerns. Yes.
Yeah, everything sounded really good. The
Yeah.
only thing that's kind of maybe rethinking it, it's just
Yeah.
like, but what do I know, right?
No, you're good. Please share.
But a 2% penalty on late rent.
Mhm.
If you pay $1,500, and so then I'm just paying $30 as a late fee.
Mhm.
And then if I continually do that, I'm a chronic late payer,
Mhm.
then that money has to go into my rent as well.
Mhm.
So
If-
there's no penalty for being late, truly.
In terms of because you're paying that extra
You said
$30.
it's only, you're thinking about capping it at 2% of your rent, right?
Yeah.
And so I pay that because I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll pay the $30, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
late 2 weeks. But then you said that money has to be put into my actual rent as well.
No, it would your whatever payments you make. So say you make a partial payment, like I only have $500 right now. That's gonna go towards your rent first before it goes to the 30-day fee. You still have to pay the fee.
And is the fee per day, or is it like if I'm late 3 weeks, I'm only penalized $30?
It's capped to 2%. So it might differ on how the landlord chooses to charge it, in terms of like how they might increase it over time, or if it's a flat fee. But it's just the fee overall is capped at 2%.
There's one more question.
Sorry, there's two. Yeah.
You gotta choose.
I gotta choose. I saw this hand first. I'm so sorry.
My question is, where or how the community can get this information
Mhm.
in Spanish?
In Spanish.
Here in the community, we have a big percentage of people that doesn't
Mhm.
know English,
Mhm.
and the majority are
Mhm.
seniors passing these things.
Mhm. Yes. There is information provided by the city right now in Spanish. We thought that information could be more elaborative for the community to really understand better. So we created the thing that was up here, but I'm working with the coalition to also get translated versions of that. And so once that coalition has those translated versions completed, we can share them.
And where?
And where we would be distributing them. The city also has them available on the website. If you look from the June 30th informational hearing, the materials are available.
Because the people that I'm talking about, they know him. Have
Mhm.
computers, they don't know how to
Mhm.
handle, and we have a lot of community groups that can handle and pass
Mhm.
for the people here.
Yes, I will connect with Christian for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, but we're gonna have a back agenda, and if I let you speak on the other ones, that's what we're gonna let.
Do you have a business card?
Yes, I can provide a business card.
And Nicole I know Nicole for like almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
So
Probably longer.
she's always very active. So you can have conversations aside to answer the
Yes.
questions. But we have a pack agenda, so we're gonna continue. But thank you so much, everybody. Give it up for Nicole.
Oh, sorry. Can I 10 seconds of one more thing?
Okay.
I'm sorry. So the reason I'm also here today is to ask you all to sign on to a letter of support to the city and county to have all of these considerations, and we also shared that over. So if you want to follow up additionally, I can give you my card, and then I'll get out of your hair. And thank you so much for having
We're actually gonna vote on that right now.
Oh,
So yeah, that's our next item. So for those of you that that saw the email, I sent the letter, but I also print a lot of copies, and I do want to take maybe 3 minutes. Does anybody need a copy? Someone needs alguien ocupa una copia? Anybody needs a copy? Okay.
Sorry.
So it's
I'm gonna
5:58.
restock as soon as I can.
I'll give you 6:02 to read the letter, and then we're gonna take a vote. Well, first we're gonna do discussion, but yeah, so 6:03.
Thank you.
Bye. One more minute. I think I gave you a little too much time, but just in case. Okay, so my phone says it's 6:03. I will make a motion so we can do discussion, but I'll make a motion to sign our name to the letter. Anybody wants to second it?
A second.
Anybody opposes? You oppose? So we're gonna go into discussion. Ricardo, do you wanna say why? Sorry for putting you in the spot. But yeah, discussion. Anybody else wants to speak in favor of signing the letter? Okay, you all want to speak against the letter? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, so first Mr. Martinez, then Ms. Delgadillo, then Ms. Castañeda, then Ms. Espinosa, and then Mr. Morrison, and we leave it like at that. Okay, Mr. Martinez.
Yeah, me personally, I encourage to sign in favor of the ordinance letter because, well, I myself am a tenant here in San Ysidro, and I acknowledge a lot of the realities that are presented in the letter, especially as it addresses overall chips down on the affordability crisis that we suffer here in San Ysidro, and many tenants like myself do suffer as well. In general, more and more we're seeing a rise of tenant population in San Ysidro. So this also looking for the next 10 plus years of San Ysidro, of people that call themselves San Ysidrans. So I think it's also an ethical matter to stand in favor of this as we are also enticing, right, protections for other San Ysidrans that are forthcoming.
Ms. Delgadillo.
Yo lo voy a decir en español para que no se me trabe. Yo voy a votar en contra de esto porque no es justo que nosotros aquí en una presentación rapidísima aprobemos algo que la comunidad no está enterada. Yo puedo votar a favor cuando ya se pasó información a la comunidad que sí se les va a ayudar. Eso.
Ms. Castañeda.
Yo también, I'm going to vote for and against, but I'll say, ¿quiere que lo diga en español?
Como quiera.
Okay, so yo estoy mitad y mitad. Yo estoy a favor de casi todo, menos el 2% límite. Y les voy a decir por qué. Porque lo que va a pasar es que la gente va a empezar a subir las rentas para protegerse. Yo se los digo por experiencia. Hay mucha gente que no cuida las casas y hay gente que no paga porque quieren irse al desierto, no pagan porque se quieren ir a cenar. Entonces, por más flexible que uno sea y por más bondadoso que uno sea para comprender, se hace una costumbre cuando no hay responsabilidad. Esa es la única parte. Y dos, yo también estoy en el mismo plan de usted. ¿Cómo vamos a votar a favor de algo sin que la comunidad, sin que no haya? Ese es parte del problema que tenemos aquí en San Ysidro, que la información no se disemina a la comunidad antes de hacer una decisión. Hemos estado muy activos en nosotros estar afuera, estar presentes, establecer nuestra presencia para que la comunidad empiece a ganar confianza. Pero ¿cómo vamos a hacer decisiones sin ni siquiera ponerlo sobre la comunidad? Todo se me hace bien. Yo estoy al 100%, es más, 1000% de acuerdo de que muchas de estas cosas no se deberían de cobrar, pero no estoy de acuerdo que no haya contabilidad de que la gente no tenga responsabilidad de pagar su renta. Hay prioridades y lo que uno vive, donde come, son uno de los primordiales.
Ms. Espinosa.
Ok, so sí estoy de acuerdo que la comunidad debe saber, pero por eso existe este foro y espero que haya más gente que por esa motivación que vaya viniendo más para esto. Y lo que me atrayó es que if you have 10 or 14 days to provide shelter. So the situation for this ordinance to be passed, each landlord or landlord organization, like right now I live in Burbank Family Apartments, and they have their own specific contract. And they lay out the rules and they'll apply this. But if you have a good lawyer, you have someone that can really word it out, they technically won't have to follow all of this. So in a good way, it's like, okay, yes, we're advocating for like more movement on like, let's not price gouge. But again, I feel like more information is needed. I would be like willing to go to this cause because even for like being a youth student, all of that. So it would depend on each apartment or like renting situation because they have their own contract too. So I think I would want to hear how the landlord would apply this, but also their own rules. Porque le pueden mover de una manera que no va a seguir todo, pero va a seguir una porción de eso. Entonces cuando me sé como like, cambié la mente, pero I still want to like advocate for you. That's my end point.
Mr. Morrison?
Yo también no estoy completamente opuesto a todo. Una de las cosas es el 2%. Yo tengo propiedad, pero no estamos hablando de 100 unidades ni nada. Talking small, you know. And usually these things come out and it's like there's no education for the landlord at all, especially small time landlords, not big ones who have, you know, lawyers and they can go through all of this and change things. I also think that in order for us to vote, we should have received the whole ordinance, not a letter or an explanation from one side of the argument, right? We want to see exactly what's in there, what things, and I'm not saying she's hiding anything, but usually when this come out is one-sided. They're telling you which side they want you to hear. I would like to hear the whole thing. So instead of voting, I would ask that we maybe table this for next one and maybe invite somebody on the other side who can also bring their argument so we can hear everybody's side. Again, I'm not a big time like lot of units, but a lot of these things, like having extra people, like I've seen what one person damage those to the unit for regular usage, in the same unit with having 3 or 4 people. And I don't think it's fair to say you can't charge because I've seen the damage. I've seen what you not paying my rent does to me, because then I gotta put it on my pocket. I gotta take it out, maybe get a loan. Again, I'm not big time. I know this is, if it's just blanketed for everybody, it's gonna hurt people too. People who live here, people who have homes here, people who rent here. So it's not only renters, but people who actually own property here in San Ysidro. So again, my ask would be, let's just put it for next time and then read the whole ordinance and see what's really in there, not just what somebody's telling us it's in there.
Cristian,
Okay.
¿puedo agregar algo? Medio minuto. Ok. Estoy yo en contra porque estoy viendo algo que ya pasó aquí en el Planning Group hace mucho y es algo parecido, puede ser. Las bicicletas trajeron el proyecto, nos dieron rápido, votaron, se aprobó, no se pasó a la comunidad, lo hicieron y ya antes de hacerlo trajeron otra vez, ya ha cambiado todo, pero no se le pasó la información a la comunidad. Por eso hay cosas muy buenas, pero hasta que ya traigan lo que es que se va a hacer.
Información completa, pues.
Es todo.
Okay, so this is, we're gonna take a vote. What we can do is, if the motion dies, we can do another motion to table it to next month. But we do have to vote on this motion whether we wanna, I guess so. If you're in favor of this motion as it is, say yes. If you wanna make a change, then you oppose, and then someone makes a motion saying like I want to table it, or I want to make another motion where we remove the 2%. But we have to vote on this first, okay? Yes.
We can also abstain to vote.
Yes, you can abstain to. And then I cannot vote unless it's a tie. So yeah, that's how it works. Because I'm not supposed to be taking a side. Hola, buenas tardes. So yeah, so those that are in favor say aye. Okay. Those that are against say nay.
Nay.
You're taking the notes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And any abstain? 1, 2, 3 abstains. Okay. Anybody wants to make another motion?
Yeah. I want to table this item until they give us more information and distribute for the community.
Is there a second?
I second.
Now we're gonna vote on that amendment. Those that are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone that opposes? Nay? Any abstentions? Okay, so now, what we're gonna do is, we're tabling this to, I guess, we can talk to them and see when they can provide us that information. Okay, so, yes,
Could we also maybe find out again who's against this, just to see?
Both sides,
Yeah.
both sides, yes.
It's better to hear both sides regardless of if we agree or not.
okay, perfect. Yeah, I will, I mean, if you can help me with that,
I can try it.
because they are the ones that came to me, so, I'm like,
I'm
hey.
pretty sure they know who's against this, so.
Yeah, none of them will bring those people. Hey, can you bring the enemies?
Just tell them, you know, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now we have a very important guest over here. Ms. Lucero Maganda from the mayor's office. And she's gonna give a presentation. And I know we're gonna have a lot of questions. So I do wanna say that we have 5 questions for this. Lucero, you get to choose who's gonna, I guess we wanna answer those questions. What I do wanna say is, if you have, because I know we have a lot of things to say. I don't know if Ms. Maganda is able to, like, after the presentation, also talk one-on-one. But yeah, everybody give it a round of applause.
Were you able to open?
No, that's what I was gonna tell you, so
Okay, all good. I got my computer.
Okay. It's an HDMI, do you have it?
I think so.
You should.
Read this.
Yes. I should have set up somewhere.
Let me see all my secrets.
So I can
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Perfect. And it's 6:14, so around 6:44.
Oh, my computer wants to restart. Okay. Hello, everybody. Buenas tardes. My name is Lucero. I'm the Director of Community Engagement for Mayor Gloria. I specifically work with Council Districts 8 and 4. That shuffles around a little bit. And today, wanted to reintroduce myself to some of the folks that don't know me. I am your mayoral representative. However, it has been quite some time, and so I want to make sure that you knew who I am. Christian and I are in communication often, and so I feel as though we are connected and understand the recaps from issues that are happening in the neighborhoods. But wanted to give you all an overview of my role in the mayor's office, a little bit about what my team does, and then touch on some of the concerns specifically in San Ysidro, and provide some updates as part of my monthly report, but also some of the more pressing issues that are happening. So I'll start off by sharing a little bit about what the mayor can do. So the mayor is the person that essentially gives direction operational to all of the departments within the city of San Diego. He can appoint or remove some of the city department heads. As you know, we have different departments: transportation, public utilities, etc. He can also recommend policies to city council. City council is ultimately the body that decides on voting, putting forward things like the ordinance that we were just discussing. All 9 of the council members get a vote and say into what is introduced and what is passed at the city level. He does also have the ability to break tie votes and also veto legislation for the most part. That very rarely happens, but sometimes that is something that he can and will do. Again, a little overview of what our office consists of. So we have different, within our mayoral office, there are different teams. So I am part of the community engagement team, but we also have government affairs, policy, our incredible admin team that helps with all of the scheduling, communications, and boards and commissions. So this is the small but mighty community engagement team. There are currently 4 of us. We used to have 5, but now we're down to 4. And each one of us, as I mentioned, we support and work directly with our respective council districts. So as you may know, most of us cover 2, sometimes 3. Randy, bless him, right now has 3 council districts, which is really fun. But my role as the deputy director also encompasses supporting as needed in any of these districts. So if one of my team members is out, then that means I get to step in and help them out. So I have my director, myself, and then Fatima and Randy that cover those, as well as other policy areas. So I am also the Latinx liaison and handle all of the immigration / binational affairs in our office and other duties as assigned. So I wanted to cover briefly some of the responsibilities. As you know, I'm here to represent the mayor at community meetings, events. I do see some of you at community events, and it's lovely. My job is also to support constituents with inquiries to city departments. That means if you're not hearing back from a department or you just don't know where to start, that's something that I can help with. Also helping understand existing and proposed legislation. So similar to what you just heard earlier on the price gouging ordinance, some of the feedback that I would give is that for something like that, it is important to note dates on, like, council heard this. I was talking to Rodrigo earlier. City council heard this back in July, I believe, June 30th, as an information item, similar to how you are receiving it today. And at some point, it will come before city council again to be considered for a vote. And so that's something to be mindful of when you think about making sure that they're engaging the community before that happens, right? Not just voting like right now on the fly, but it is important to note and make sure that you're following along to when those dates are really important, because ultimately when council votes on that, that'll decide whether that's going to be enacted or not.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Did you mention when it's gonna come up?
We don't have a date for that yet,
Okay.
but that's something to be mindful of. And I would share with her as well, like to make sure that when you're trying to get support for something, that folks understand the
The
dates.
timeline.
So if you didn't, maybe I'm like going too much into it, but if the group didn't necessarily agree with this letter, there are other ways to show your support for an ordinance like that. You can come as a group, or you can come as an individual and voice your concerns or your support for something particular, right? Like I heard the 2% was one of the biggest things, and that's something you can share back to the folks that are proposing the ordinance, so that if that's a way to make sure that it passes, right? Like that's something that they can
Tweak it.
tweak it. Yeah. Sorry, what was that? Okay. Monitor and keep mayor informed of the community matters, again, through conversations, not only with meetings, events, but also constant communication with the chairs and other folks in the community, as well as my counterparts in the district. So Rodrigo is my representative for District 8 in San Ysidro. In the council offices, the reps have individual communities. I handle the entire district, so I have different reps for different areas. And my favorite one, work on special events and projects, so other duties as assigned. As I mentioned earlier, just wanted to give a visual of what that looks like. So I cover districts 8 and 4, and I pulled up just specifically the District 8 communities. Just again, wanted to highlight kind of the entirety of the role. And sometimes it is a little bit challenging. So you won't see me as often because I'm covering all of this, and this is just D4, but I mean D8, and then I have D4. So it is a little bit challenging to be in person for the most part, but again, we've been working to coordinate this presentation and make sure that I'm attending, and also getting a recap of what's going on at the meetings, even if I can't be there in person. So I just wanted to share that visually. Oops, it's haunted. Okay. Just briefly, some casework examples. Again, as I mentioned, these are just some of the departments, but these are the most common ones that we get hit up about all the time. Transportation. So this is your streetlights, sidewalks, development services department, which also we were just talking about code enforcement on the cases. If there's an issue with the neighbor that's hoarding and it's becoming a nuisance. we help support with that as well. Public utilities, environmental services department, bless you. If your trash is not collected, if there's any issues, and also homelessness strategies and solutions. Again, these are just some of the most common case examples that we receive. Also, this is sort of a visual where we get a lot of the casework requests / inquiries. It's either through direct email where people are reaching out, or community meetings. So say, for example, today you told me I have 5 problems with all these 5 departments. That's how I get some of that casework, as well as the council offices. Again, I mentioned Rodrigo, we work very closely. And I'll reference our city department protocol because I like to reference Rodrigo and my counterparts in the council office as really, we work in partnership. I will always work with them first and see if they need support. Typically, we're both able to get the same responses from departments. Again, if you remember at the beginning, I referenced that the mayor can direct operations, so that's a little bit of the difference. But I always start off with checking in with my reps to make sure that the departments are aware and see how I can support. We also do events. Our phones, our main inbox is inundated every single day, so that's a bulk of where we get our constituent inquiries, as well as the mayor. He loves to send us casework in the middle of the night. He'll be like, hey, fix this. So if he'll do individual handoffs, or if someone comes up to him and says something, that's another example. And then social media, we do also monitor social media. It's not the best because it's really hard to engage with people like that. So we encourage to go through the main inbox, or you can find on our website any of the people listed. I referenced this earlier, but on our staff website, I just pulled it from the staff. It does have our contact information, so you can feel free to reach out to people individually. And then just, again, some of the examples of how we stay engaged beyond the meetings. You will see one, it's making sure that we're sending reports, whether that be in person or via email, check-ins with our counterparts, events. I read the news like everybody else, just making sure that we're involved. I wanted to also leave some of, maybe I'll email these to you because I realized, but I will always reference Get It Done because I know it's annoying sometimes. You're like, it's not getting it done. Like, I know it's funny, but a lot of the needs to be translated into data, and the best way that we can show the need is to make sure that it's captured, and through Get It Done is the best mechanism to make sure that things are addressed in a timely manner. Because if I keep saying like, hey, this needs to be fixed, but I have no data to show to the department, or like they're not proactively able to check every single corner of the city, like it is easier for me to reference, right? 5 street lights are out down this block, and these are the locations specifically. And so that's something that I take back, and they're able to address it as quickly as possible. So again, I just wanted to share some of these. I do encourage you, if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, we do share out a ton of updates. Yes, Joy.
I do have a question. When you have an issue and you end up having people just pass the buck back and forward, and it's constantly this way, how do you escalate it up? Whose attention do you need to get?
We run into this often with the jurisdictional issues. So when it comes, one of the best examples, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, the Willow Street Bridge, where there's Caltrans jurisdiction, there's City of San Diego jurisdiction. The best way is to make sure that the appropriate person from each jurisdiction is aware of the issue. So that's step number one. A lot of the times where I've moved in, it's not the right person, or it hasn't gotten to that level yet, but it is always making sure that it's the right person. And if you are being redirected, then you can follow up with the person that redirected you. That's what I would recommend. Like if I'm sending you to Caltrans, not because I'm saying I can't help you, but I'm saying like this is the appropriate, and they're not responding or whatever, like you can always come back to us because we connect with each other. We as representatives, we are able to, like, I can reach out to Caltrans directly, like my counterparts. I can reach out to the county, I can reach out to the state, And so it is a little bit easier for us to make sure that we're connecting on that. Did you, oh, no, I'm almost done. I'm almost done, I promise. Is my timer going?
Yeah,
Oh.
7 minutes.
Sorry, so I wanted to touch really quickly on some of the more timely things. I don't know if you all are aware, but we had I think it was like a pipe that burst last week in the San Ysidro library. So the library is going to be closed. We're working right now to get an estimate of how long the closure is going to last for the repairs. Last we heard is about 3 to 4 weeks. We're trying to get a better sense of why. Like, that's really concerning because that tells me that the damage is extensive. So that's not great. But I wanted you all to know that we're trying to get a better sense of the timeline and if there's a possibility to do it quicker than that. But we've also posted signage on the facility that says why the facility is closed. We're not closing the library because library hours. It is because there was that emergency and the repair needs to happen. The books or any of the orders are going to be routed to the Otay Nestor library. And again, that's all in the little one pager that's posted on the web. It's on the website and it should be on site. But that's a timely thing. Again, on the bridge, one of the concerns, I know we have been working a long time towards maintaining and doing the power washing on it. Currently, it is at once a month. On that frequency, we know that that's not enough to maintain the cleanliness. So we put in the request for Environmental Services Department to come wash twice a month. It is in the queue right now because there are, again, within the district and the areas that I showed you, there are similar areas that are also one of the areas that need to be maintained on a frequency more than once a month. And so even within the district, I'm asking, okay, can we have these resources directed here and so on and so forth, because there is a need, because there is the data, there's the reports that you all file, everything that's been notated, that's been an issue and ongoing, that has helped tremendously to make sure that there is that maintenance now, but that we're also, if we're requesting an increase in frequency, we have the reports that say this is still an issue. We're still dealing with folks that are going back and forth between the public right away and into Caltrans. And so it is hard to address, right? When the city comes and cleans and does the abatement, they move and then they come back. So that's in the works, and I'm hoping to have an update sometime in the next week or so. This is something that really are working on. I will wrap up with my monthly report before I take any questions. Just have some items to share. The first one I already went through, but 1 second. Kind of on the same topic, the city and Caltrans did mark 1 year of the partnership to renew the agreement to maintain encampments along the Caltrans right of way. So this was a pilot agreement that they had entered between the city and Caltrans to allow the city to go into Caltrans property and do the cleanups. Previously, we weren't able to do that because it is not a jurisdiction, a number of issues, but that has been really successful in addressing some of the concerns, specifically near the entrances to the freeway, so ramps, similar to the Willow Street Bridge, those areas that are very close to the public right of way, but technically are like the Caltrans jurisdiction. So that is, given that it was seen as a successful project that has expanded, these are currently still, we're working to expand the area that it's covered. The pilot was focused within the area of downtown, those entrances around the freeway, but we're still working to see if we can expand to cover additional areas. So when you think about downtown, everybody's always like, oh, it's always downtown, but it also impacted nearby communities in District 8, like Sherman, Barrio Logan, that have freeway entrances and have some of those slivers where they were seeing a lot of these concerns with the encampments being a chronic issue in those areas. So we are continuing to work on expanding that agreement, and hopefully, because this model works so well, the goal would be for us to be able to do that throughout the entire city and allow for more areas that we're seeing. Like I drive up and down and I can see like folks that are in different areas, not just in the city, right? Like as you come into National City too. The other item that I wanted to share, as you all know, it's really hot and disgusting, but these are all impacts of what is called El Nino. And typically you experience like all the heat, humidity, and then comes the severe storm weather. So the city is preparing for what is expected to be rain and storm weather later this fall. We're expecting that this will be high rain, high tide, flooding, and the hot and cold temperatures in the city of San Diego. I will also share some of the links that I wanted to, but we're encouraging folks to tune in and be signed up for those alert notifications in case there's severe changes in weather, to be prepared, to make sure that you check the FEMA websites, that you check all of the alerts within the county and city of San Diego so that you are prepared in case there's an emergency. And again, when I reference the newsletter and our social media, like tune in because we will be reposting and making sure that these are all going out English and Spanish for our communities. And then if you have more ideas for us to do outreach, that's one of the things that we want to make sure that it's getting outside of social media, the news, the community meetings, etc. Like I think that that's something that we're still working to make sure that we're getting that outreach and the information to everybody in the community. And so just wanted to share that with you all, and I will end it there because there's questions.
5 people.
Oh, there's 3, 4. Okay, he was waiting, so we'll go that way.
For the getting done, it seems like you already know that it's not working here because people don't want to do it. So what's the plan to do something different? You're not going to change people's minds on, submitting. We have a huge population of elderly people who are not going to take the time or shouldn't have to take the time to report, something. And then the second question is, how could we submit complaints on the app? Because I've submitted tickets where I'm like, I submit it and they say they cleaned it. They take a picture of a different place, but they actually took some of the trash. And then I'm like, hey, you guys just came, picked up some of the trash. It's still there. And they come. I have examples of 3 times saying like, hey, this is the 3rd time. It's ticket number. You guys didn't clean it up. And it just keeps going and going.
It's the wrong place.
No, the right place. But they come and pick up like half of the trash and then take a picture of another place that is clean. And then I gotta report it again. And it's just over and over. They don't pick up everything. They just pick whatever they want and they leave.
Yeah, those are perfect examples of the type of feedback that we can take back. The purpose and what I meant to say is the app itself is not what fixes the problem, but the app helps capture that data. So when you are telling me that 10 times that you reported that they didn't fix it, I can say here are the 10 reports and here's the data, not like an anecdotal like hey, a complaint, right? So that's where it helps us. Again, the app itself isn't what it does, but it does help me, or it helps our counterparts be able to address the issue and pinpoint to exactly what it is.
Yeah. But it'd be nice to have it on the app where you can say like, hey, this is the report I submitted.
There's no feedback.
I didn't see any. And also again, that people are not submitting here, so we gotta figure something else. We're not gonna change people's minds to do it. So what else can be done? I think is a question that I would like to bring higher up. Like, do we need to send that staff or ask, city staff to actually do it?
Yeah, I would counter that like sending city staff that is one that's supposed to be doing the work is wouldn't be. But what I have seen different groups want to do, and this is something that like we can help facilitate, is to get it done days where whether somebody from that department can present and then you give them the feedback directly, and we can do like a partnership with one of the senior centers, or we'll host something where we go out and do the reporting. That's something that we can support and partner with. But I hopefully that answers your question in terms of like not fixing the issue immediately, but the data is so important to highlight where there's still things that need to be corrected. So that's
yeah.
why I encourage. Sometimes we try and like submit the reports ourselves. So the mayor's actually the one that goes around and like he'll walk his dog and he's sending get it done all the time. But even for us, it is a little bit harder. I get about easily 100 emails easily just through my inbox, and then we have all of these. So it is difficult to go through and be like, okay, let me find. Then I have to look up the area that you're telling me and make sure that when I'm filing the report, it geotags the correct sidewalk.
Yeah,
I can
and I'm
make a
not asking you
mistake.
to do it. I'm
No,
just
but
saying, you
I'm
know,
saying like
maybe
that's
somebody who actually is in the field picking up trash, they drive through a lot of it and they don't
Yes.
report it. They could literally report it right there. Just
Absolutely.
ideas, right?
Sorry, here. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I don't know if the questions or comments. Number one, the communication with the community. I was a little like disappointed in something that happened within this month where Mayor came over. A lot of people didn't know he was here. And the Colonel Irvin Solomon part, that's my area right there. It used to be called the Boys Club. Many, many years ago, when they started the project of that, I was going to all the meetings as a planning representative and everything. And I've been asking, when are they gonna open it? Because that's my area, and I'm always going out there and everything. And boom, they opened it, but it was not told to the community. I was part of most of the decisions right there, the lighting, everything. Me and Mr. Freeman, we went to all these meetings, and nobody told us about it. And then they told me, and I did drive by, and it was already over, and I was like, wow. All that work that some people make into this, and it's a pop-up event, the community didn't know about it. So that's like, I was like, what's going on with the communication with the public? And especially people who have worked on that project way before it even started, and all these new people were there. I was like, this is kind of interesting. Who spread the word about this meeting? Because people in the community don't know. And that's my area. Like I literally go, and I actually that same day I went in the morning because I always drive by because that's the Boys Club for me. And I was so disappointed to see that, and I'm like, he was here, and then he was here down there by the Willow Bridge. I'm like, okay, so he is coming around, but how come there's no communication with the public? Now that Tijuana River Valley, I see other mayors talking about it, and I'm so like thankful for them talking about it. But what about our mayor in San Ysidro? It's something that I keep on talking about it. The smell's never gonna go away, and I don't see our mayor coming over, even an explanation of sympathy, because we're smelling the smell, and that really upsets me because I know he's coming, but how come he's not doing the community? That's like my concern. Like it really kind of bothers me on that. He's a good mayor and everything, but San Ysidro is part of his, I don't know what you call it, area, you know, and I feel like he has let us down. And if we can pass that word, I would love for him to come